The sky on the alien planet was dark and heavy. The peaceful world called Zyron had never seen such fear before. The aliens who lived there were calm and quiet creatures. They loved their home, full of strange blue trees and glowing rivers. But now something terrible was coming. From the shadows, strange creatures began to rise, undead beings with cold, empty eyes and slow, heavy steps. These creatures did not belong to the world of Zyron. They came from somewhere unknown, and they brought death and fear. The aliens did not know what to do. Their weapons, made for fighting other aliens, were useless against these undead. The creatures did not feel pain, and they did not stop. When the aliens tried to run, the undead chased them with quiet hunger. The peaceful planet was turning into a nightmare. Among the aliens was a young one named Lyra. She was small and quick, with bright green eyes that still held hope. Lyra had never seen the undead before. She ran through the forest, her heart beating fast. She could hear the slow footsteps behind her getting closer. She reached a clearing and saw the sky shining with stars. She stopped and looked back. The undead were coming, and they would catch her soon. Just when Lyra thought it was the end, a loud noise came from above. A bright light shone down from the sky. A ship, unlike anything on Zyron, was coming fast and strong. It was a human spaceship. The aliens had heard stories about humans, creatures from a far planet called Earth. Humans were strong, smart, and brave, but no one expected them to come now. The ship landed with a heavy thud. Doors opened, and humans stepped out. They wore thick suits and carried strange weapons. The undead stopped and turned to look at the new arrival. The humans moved quickly and carefully. They did not seem afraid. One of the humans, a tall man with dark hair named Captain James, raised his hand. He spoke in the alien language, but slowly and simply. "We have fought these creatures before," he said. "We know how to stop them." The aliens looked at each other in surprise. They wanted to believe him, but they had lost hope. The undead were too many and too strong. Lyra stepped forward. "How can you help us?" she asked. Her voice was soft but strong. Captain James smiled a little. "On Earth we fought the undead. We survived. We will teach you how." The aliens watched as the humans began to set up camp. They made fires and prepared their weapons. The undead moved closer, but the humans stood firm. They were ready. That night the sky was full of stars, but the air was full of fear. The aliens stayed close to the humans. They listened to their stories of battles on Earth. They learned about courage and survival. For the first time, some aliens felt hope. Suddenly, a loud growl came from the forest. The undead were attacking the camp. The humans raised their weapons and fired. Bright beams of light hit the undead, stopping some of them. The aliens joined the fight using what little weapons they had. The battle was fierce. Lyra fought beside the humans. She saw how brave they were, how they did not give up even when things looked bad. The undead were pushed back, but not gone. The humans told the aliens this was just the beginning. When the sun rose, the camp was quiet. The undead were gone for now, but the aliens knew they would come back. Captain James looked at Lyra and said, "We will help you. Together, we can win." Lyra nodded. She felt a new strength inside her. The humans had come to save them, and she was ready to fight. The aliens and humans began to work together. They shared ideas and made plans. The undead were still out there, but now the aliens were not alone. With humans by their side, they had a chance. The night was dark again, but the stars shone brighter. On the planet Zyron, hope was born. The sun rose slowly over the alien planet Zyron. After the battle the night before, the aliens and humans were tired but alert. Captain James and his team gathered the aliens in a wide clearing. They needed to explain everything about the undead and how they could fight back. The aliens listened carefully. Many of them had never seen such danger before. The undead were creatures without life. They did not feel pain, they did not get tired, and they did not stop. On Earth, humans had fought them many times. Some humans survived because they learned. The Undead Secrets. Captain James showed the aliens strange weapons. These were not like the energy beams or laser guns aliens usually used. These weapons had silver parts, and they could hurt the undead badly. The humans called them silver bullets and holy fire. The aliens were amazed but also confused. How could fire and silver hurt creatures that were already dead? One alien named Tharok raised his voice. "Why did you wait so long to help us? Why did you not come before the undead attacked?" Captain James looked serious. "We only just found out about your planet. We did not know you were in danger until the undead appeared here. The undead can travel through space but slowly. We followed their trail and came as fast as we could." The aliens were still unsure. Some of them did not trust the humans. They wondered if the humans had their own reasons for coming. But the undead threat was too big to ignore. The leaders agreed to work with the humans. The humans began to teach the aliens how to use their weapons. It was hard work. The aliens were not used to the heavy metal guns or fast firing. Their hands trembled at first, but with practice they grew stronger. The humans also taught them how to build traps and use fire to stop the undead from moving. Lyra, the young alien from before, was a quick learner. She watched every move the humans made. She practiced shooting and running at the same time. She wanted to protect her family and friends. She dreamed of a day when the undead would never return. Days passed, and the undead attacked again. This time the aliens were ready. The humans and aliens fought side by side. The undead were strong and many, but the new weapons and tactics worked. The aliens saw their friends and homes saved by the humans' help. During the battle, Lyra noticed something strange. The undead seemed slow but had strong senses. They followed sounds and smells closely. Lyra told the humans, and they used this knowledge to set silent traps and confuse the undead. After the fight, the humans and aliens sat together around the fire. They shared food and stories. The aliens learned about Earth and how humans lived. The humans learned about Zyron's strange blue trees and glowing rivers. Slowly, a new friendship grew, but the peace did not last long. A messenger from the alien leaders came running with bad news. The undead leader, a giant creature with burning red eyes, had appeared near the capital city of Zyron. The undead army was growing stronger. Captain James stood up and spoke firmly. "We must stop the undead leader before he destroys everything. We need a plan." The aliens and humans worked all night. They studied maps and planned their attack. It was dangerous, but they had no choice. If the undead leader was not stopped, Zyron would fall. Lyra volunteered to be part of the team. She wanted to help in any way she could. The humans respected her courage and made her a scout. Her job was to sneak behind enemy lines and find out what the undead leader was planning. The night before the battle, Lyra looked at the stars. She thought about her home, her family, and the humans who had come to save them. She knew the fight would be hard, but she was ready. The next morning, the team moved quietly through the forests. The undead were waiting, but this time, the aliens and humans had learned their enemy well. The battle started with loud shouts and flashes of light. The undead attacked with fury, but the humans and aliens fought with skill and heart. Lyra moved quickly, avoiding the undead and finding the enemy leader's location. She saw the giant creature surrounded by smaller undead soldiers. It was bigger and stronger than anything she had seen before. Its red eyes burned like fire and its growl shook the ground. Lyra sent a message to Captain James. "The leader is here. He is very strong. We need more help." The captain smiled. "Hold on, Lyra. We are coming." Together, humans and aliens fought their hardest. The battle was long and difficult, but the courage of the humans and aliens gave them strength. The undead were pushed back for now, but the leader escaped again into the dark. After the fight, the humans and aliens were tired but hopeful. They knew the war was not over, but they also knew they were stronger together. The undead were dangerous, but with new friends and new weapons, the aliens of Zyron had a chance to survive. Lyra looked at the sky once more. The stars were still shining. She smiled and whispered, "We will win. We must." The air was heavy with the smell of smoke. The humans and aliens worked together to build stronger walls around their camp. The undead were always close, waiting for the moment to attack. Every night, the cold wind brought the sound of their growls. But the humans and aliens were ready. Captain James stood in front of a group of aliens. He held up a small device that looked like a bright red stone. "This is a firebomb," he said slowly. "It can stop many undead at once. Fire is their weakness. Use it carefully." The aliens nodded. They had never used fire as a weapon before, but they trusted the humans. Nearby, Lyra was practicing with her new weapon. It was smaller than the human guns, but she liked it. She felt proud when she hit the wooden targets that the humans set up. She had never fought in a war, but she wanted to learn. She did not want to feel helpless anymore. Tharok, the alien who had once doubted the humans, was also there. He watched the humans closely. He wanted to make sure they really were here to help. As he trained, he saw the humans working hard, showing the aliens how to build traps and how to use every piece of wood and metal to fight. He began to trust them more. During the day, the humans taught the aliens how to fight. At night, they sat around the fire and shared their stories. The humans spoke of Earth, of cities full of bright lights and tall buildings. They spoke of how the undead had once come to Earth and destroyed so much. But humans had learned. They had survived. Now they were sharing that knowledge with the aliens. One evening, Captain James and Lyra sat together near the glowing river. The water sparkled like stars. Captain James looked at the river and then at Lyra. "You have a strong heart," he said. "I have seen many brave people on Earth, but you are special." Lyra smiled, but her eyes were serious. "I do not feel brave," she said. "I feel afraid every day." Captain James nodded. "Being brave does not mean you are not afraid. It means you fight even when you are scared." Lyra looked at the water and thought about her home, her family, and the future. She wanted to believe the humans could help them. She wanted to believe they could win. The next day, the humans took the aliens deep into the forest. They showed them how to use the trees to hide and how to listen to the sounds of the undead. The aliens learned how to move silently, how to set traps that would stop the undead from moving forward. But the undead were not stupid. They were learning too. Each time the humans and aliens fought them, the undead became stronger. They moved faster and their attacks were more deadly. The humans knew this. They knew the undead were always changing. One night an alarm sounded in the camp. The undead were attacking again. The aliens and humans jumped to their feet, grabbing weapons and firebombs. The undead came from the dark, their empty eyes glowing in the night. Lyra ran to the front lines with Captain James. She was afraid, but she remembered his words. She aimed her weapon and fired. The undead fell, but more came. The humans moved, quickly, using their firebombs and silver bullets. The aliens followed, their weapons burning bright in the night. The battle was hard. The undead were stronger than before. They moved together like one giant shadow. But the humans and aliens did not give up. They fought back with all their strength. The sky was full of light and fire. When the battle ended, the camp was still, standing. Some aliens had fallen, but they had fought bravely. Captain James looked at his team and the aliens. "We must keep training," he said. "The undead will not stop. We must be ready." The next morning, the aliens and humans gathered again. They talked about the battle and what they had learned. They saw that the undead could be beaten, but only if they worked together. They were stronger as one. Captain James called a meeting with the alien leaders. They sat around a table made of old wood. Maps of the forest and the undead camps were spread out. Captain James pointed at one map. "We have learned something important," he said. "The undead follow the strongest one among them. If we can find and destroy their leader, we can weaken them." The alien leaders looked at each other. They knew the undead leader was dangerous, but they also knew this might be their only chance. Lyra stood and said, "We must try. If we wait, the undead will take everything." The humans and aliens agreed to make a new plan. They would find the undead leader and destroy him. It would be dangerous, but they had no choice. Their world was at stake. For days, the humans trained the aliens even harder. They taught them how to fight in small groups, how to use traps and fire to break the undead's attacks. They shared everything they knew because they knew that only together could they survive. Lyra spent every day practicing. She learned how to run fast and how to shoot straight. She learned how to listen to the forest and hear the undead before they appeared. She was not the same young alien who had once run in fear. Now, she was a fighter. At night, when the stars were bright, she and Captain James would look at the sky. "Do you think we can win?" she asked him. Captain James always gave the same answer. "We have to believe we can. We have come too far to stop now." The days turned into weeks. The undead never stopped coming, but neither did the humans and aliens. Each fight made them stronger. Each night, they shared their hopes and fears by the fire. Lyra knew the final battle was coming. She could feel it in the air, in the way the undead moved, and in the way the humans planned. The undead leader was out there, waiting. And soon, they would have to face him, but she was not afraid. She was ready. The morning sun was hidden by dark clouds. The humans and aliens knew the final battle was near. They had prepared as much as they could. Now they had to trust each other and fight together. Captain James stood in front of the group. His face was serious, but his eyes were full of hope. "Today we go to the undead leader's camp," he said. "It will be dangerous. Some of us may not return. But if we do not stop him now, the undead will destroy everything." The aliens listened, carefully. They were afraid, but they trusted Captain James. They had seen the humans fight and survive. They knew that together they were stronger. Lyra stood beside Captain James. She held her small weapon tightly. She thought of her family and her home. She thought of the blue trees and the glowing rivers of Zyron. She would fight to save them, Tau. The plan was simple. The humans and aliens would move through the forest in small groups. They would stay quiet and use the shadows to hide. They knew the undead followed the undead leader's orders. If they could kill the leader, the undead would become weak and slow. As they moved through the forest, Lyra felt the cold air on her face. She could hear the wind in the trees and the soft steps of her friends around her. They moved like ghosts, careful and quiet. Hours passed. The forest grew darker. Strange sounds came from the shadows, but the humans and aliens kept going. They were close now. Finally, they reached a large clearing. In the middle stood the undead leader. He was taller than any other undead. His skin was gray and his eyes burned bright red. Around him were many undead soldiers standing still and silent. Captain James signaled to stop. He looked at the group. "This is it," he whispered. "We must be fast. We must be strong." He turned to Lyra. "Stay close to me. We will end this together." Lyra nodded. She felt her heart beating fast, but she did not run. She would not be afraid. The humans and aliens moved forward slowly. They set traps with firebombs. They aimed their weapons at the undead leader. The leader turned his head and let out a deep, terrible growl. The undead soldiers began to move. The battle started in an instant. The humans fired their silver bullets, and the firebombs exploded with bright light. The aliens used everything they had learned. They moved fast, striking hard and then falling back. The undead soldiers were strong, but the humans and aliens fought with all their strength. The clearing was full of light and smoke. Lyra fired her weapon again and again. Each time she pulled the trigger, she thought of her home. Captain James led the attack. He moved straight toward the undead leader. The leader swung his huge arm, knocking trees down like toys. But Captain James did not stop. He fired his weapon, each shot hitting the leader's gray skin. The leader roared in pain. He turned and charged at Captain James. But Lyra was there. She ran to his side and fired her weapon at the leader's face. The leader stopped and let out a terrible sound. For the first time, the undead leader looked afraid. The humans and aliens saw this and pushed harder. They used their firebombs to burn the undead soldiers. The air was full of heat and light. Captain James yelled, "Now, Lyra, we end this!" Together, they ran at the undead leader. Captain James raised his weapon, and Lyra threw her firebomb. The leader roared as the fire burned his gray skin. He swung his arm trying to stop them, but the fire was too strong. The leader fell to his knees, his red eyes flickering like dying stars. With one last shot, Captain James fired his weapon, straight into the leader's chest. The leader let out a final roar and then fell silent. The undead soldiers stopped moving. Without their leader, they stood still, their empty eyes staring at nothing. Slowly, they fell to the ground, one by one. The clearing grew quiet. The battle was over. Lyra fell to her knees, breathing hard. She looked at Captain James. He was tired and hurt, but he was smiling. "We did it," he said softly. The other humans and aliens gathered around them. Some of them were hurt, but they were alive. They looked at the fallen undead and knew it was finally over. The sky was still dark, but the sun began to break through the clouds. Light fell on the clearing, bright and warm. Captain James looked at Lyra. "You were brave," he said. "You fought for your world. You fought for hope." Lyra smiled. She felt tired, but she also felt strong. She looked at the humans and the aliens. They had come from different worlds, but they had fought together. They had won. The humans and aliens began to clean the battlefield. They burned the dead undead, bodies intended to the wounded. They worked side by side, no longer strangers but friends. That night they built a large fire in the middle of the clearing. They shared food and stories. The humans spoke of Earth and the aliens spoke of Zyron. They laughed and sang, their voices echoing into the night. Lyra sat beside Captain James, looking at the fire. "What happens now?" she asked. Captain James looked at the stars. "Now, we help each other rebuild. We make sure the undead never return, and we remember that we are stronger together." Lyra nodded. She knew there would be hard days ahead, but she also knew that with the humans by their side, they could face anything. The night was dark, but the fire burned bright. The humans and aliens sat together, their hearts full of hope. On the planet Zyron, a new chapter had begun. The days after the battle were full of work. The humans and aliens cleaned up the camp and burned the last of the undead bodies. The air smelled of smoke, but it was the clean smell of victory. Captain James and Lyra walked together through the camp, checking on their people. The humans helped the aliens build stronger walls around their homes. They showed them how to make better weapons. The aliens shared their food and stories of Zyron's past. There was laughter again, and the sadness from before began to fade. Tharak was one of the aliens who worked the hardest. He was no longer angry or afraid. He had seen how brave the humans were, and he trusted them now. He and Captain James often talked late at night, making plans for the future. Lyra spent her days helping the wounded. She cleaned their cuts and brought them water. She listened to their stories and promised them that the undead would never return. The humans taught her how to heal wounds with special medicine. She learned quickly, and soon she was helping to teach other aliens how to do it too. One evening, as the sun set over the blue trees, Captain James called everyone to gather. The aliens and humans stood together in the clearing where they had fought the final battle. Captain James spoke in a strong voice. "We have done something great. We fought together and won. But we cannot stop here. We must always be ready, because there could be more danger out there. We must share what we have learned with every alien city, every village." The aliens nodded. They knew he was right. Lyra stepped forward. "I will go to the other villages," she said. "I will tell them how we fought the undead. I will teach them how to build these weapons and traps. We must stand together." Tharak spoke next. "I will go too. We have seen how strong the undead were. If they come again, we will be ready." Captain James smiled. "Good. The humans will stay and help you rebuild. We will stay as long as you need us. But remember, This is your home. You must be the ones to protect it. The next few weeks were busy. The aliens worked hard to rebuild their homes. The humans helped them build watchtowers to see far across the forests. They taught the aliens how to make alarms that would warn them if the undead returned. At night, they still gathered around the fire. The humans told stories about Earth, about the oceans, the tall mountains, and the bright cities. The aliens listened with wide eyes. They shared their own stories about the glowing rivers and the singing birds of Zyron. One night, Lyra and Captain James sat on a hill overlooking the alien camp. The stars were bright above them, and the air was cool and quiet. "Do you miss your home?" Lyra asked. Captain James nodded. "I do, but I know why I'm here. We are here to help. As long as there is danger in the universe, we will fight it. That is what humans do." Lyra looked at the stars. "I used to think that we were alone, but now I see we are not." Captain James smiled. "You are not alone. We are all part of the same fight." The days turned into weeks, and then into months. The alien city grew strong again. New walls rose, taller than before. The alien children played in the safe streets. There was laughter, music, and hope. One morning, a ship from Earth landed in the clearing. More humans came to help. They brought new weapons and tools. They also brought news. The undead were not just on Zyron. Other planets had been attacked too. Captain James called a meeting with the alien leaders. "We must warn them," he said. "We cannot let the undead spread again." Lyra knew what she had to do. "I will go with you," she said. "I will speak to the other alien races. They will listen to me because I fought beside you." The humans and aliens began to prepare for the journey. They loaded the ship with supplies and weapons. Lyra said goodbye to her family. Her mother hugged her tightly. "You are brave," she said. "Come back to us." Lyra promised she would. The day the ship left Zyron, the whole village gathered to watch. The humans and aliens stood together, waving as the ship lifted into the sky. The engines glowed bright as they carried Lyra, Captain James, and the others into the stars. As the planet grew smaller below them, Lyra felt a mix of fear and excitement. She did not know what waited for them in the dark, but she knew she was not alone. She had the humans by her side, and she had hope in her heart. Captain James sat beside her in the ship's small control room. "Are you ready?" he asked. Lyra took a deep breath. "Yes, I am ready." The stars outside the window were endless. Somewhere out there, other planets needed their help. The undead were not gone forever, but Lyra knew they would never stop fighting. The ship flew on, leaving a trail of light in the dark sky. Lyra looked out at the stars and whispered, "We will fight. We will survive." And with that promise, their journey began. The ship kept flying through the stars. Every planet they visited was different. Some had bright green trees, others had red skies and black rivers. But everywhere they went, they found people who were afraid of the undead. Captain James and Lyra worked hard. They taught every village and city how to fight. They showed them how to build firebombs and how to aim their weapons. They showed them that together, they were strong. One night, as the ship flew through the dark sky, Lyra sat alone in the small control room. She looked at the stars outside the window. She thought of her home on Zyron, and how it was safe now. She thought of her mother and the children who were playing in the streets again. Captain James walked in quietly. He saw the look on Lyra's face. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "I miss home," Lyra said softly. "I miss the blue trees and the quiet rivers." Captain James sat down next to her. "I miss Earth too," he said. "But what we are doing is important. Every planet we help, every life we save, it matters." Lyra nodded. "I know, but I am tired." Captain James put his hand on her shoulder. "We will rest soon, but not yet. We must keep going." The next day they reached a planet called Rena. It was a peaceful world with yellow skies and silver grass. The people of Reyna were quiet and gentle. They did not know how to fight. The leader of Reyna was an old woman named Mira. She had silver hair and kind eyes. When she saw the humans and aliens, she welcomed them warmly. "Why do you come here?" she asked. Captain James explained about the undead. "They will come to your world too," he said. "We can help you be ready." Mira shook her head sadly. "We do not fight," she said. "We live in peace. We cannot learn to kill." Lyra stepped forward. "We do not want to kill," she said. "We want to survive. The undead will not let you live in peace." Mira looked at Lyra's face and saw the truth in her eyes. She nodded slowly. "Then teach us." So the humans and aliens taught the Reyna people. It was hard for them. They were not used to weapons or loud noises, but they listened carefully. They watched how the humans worked together, how they trusted each other. Lyra spent time with the Reyna children. She showed them how to build small traps and how to stay quiet in the silver grass. She told them stories of Xiron, how the rivers glowed in the dark and how the people sang songs at night. One evening, after a long day of training, Lyra sat with Mira by the river. The water was dark and still, and the stars were bright above them. "Do you think we will ever be safe?" Mira asked. Lyra thought for a moment. "I don't know," she said honestly. "But I believe we can be strong. And if we are strong, we have hope." Mira smiled sadly. "Hope is all we have sometimes." When it was time to leave Reyna, Mira gave Lyra a small stone. It was smooth and blue, like the rivers of Xiron. "Keep this," she said, "so you remember that there is beauty in the world, even in the darkest times." Lyra took the stone and held it tightly. "Thank you," she said. "I will keep it always." The ship lifted off and left the peaceful world of Reyna behind. Lyra watched the silver grass grow small, and she felt a new strength inside her. Captain James saw the blue stone in her hand. "What is that?" he asked. "A gift," Lyra said, "to remind me why we fight." Captain James nodded. "Good. We will need that reminder." They traveled on, going to more worlds. Some were ready to fight, others were afraid, but everywhere they went, they brought hope. One day the humans got a message from Earth. The undead were growing stronger. They had attacked a human base on a planet far away. Many humans had died. Captain James called everyone together. "We must go," he said. "The undead are trying to spread again. We must stop them." Lyra felt her heart beat fast. She was scared, but she knew what she had to do. "We will go with you," she said. "We will fight them." The ship changed its path. They flew faster than ever before. Lyra looked out at the stars and thought of all the worlds they had seen. She thought of the people they had helped, the children they had taught. She knew this fight would be the hardest, but she was not alone. She had Captain James. She had the humans and the aliens. Together, they were stronger. As the ship flew through the dark sky, Lyra whispered to herself, "We will fight. We will survive." And the ship flew on, bright and brave in the darkness, carrying them to their next battle. The ship moved fast through the stars. Lyra sat in her seat and watched the stars fly by. She had never left Xiron before, and the deep black space made her feel small. But Captain James was calm, and that made her feel brave. The humans on the UR ship were friendly. They showed the aliens how the ship worked. They let Lyra touch the controls, and she smiled as she moved the small silver levers. She was learning something new every day. Captain James spoke to her as they flew. "We will go to many worlds," he said. "We must show them how to fight the undead. We must help them before it is too late." Lyra nodded. She knew there was no going back. They were on a mission to save not just Xiron, but every world that was in danger. The first planet they reached was called Vornia. It was a cold world, with tall white mountains and long blue rivers. The people of Vornia were tall and had green skin. They wore warm clothes made from thick fur. The Vornian leader met them at the edge of the landing area. His name was Kor. He looked at the humans and aliens with careful eyes. "Why are you here?" he asked. Captain James stepped forward. "We are here to warn you," he said. "The undead may come to your world. They are strong, but we have learned how to fight them. We can help." Kor looked at Lyra. "And who are you?" Lyra took a deep breath. "I am from Zyron," she said. "The undead came to my world and we almost lost everything. But the humans helped us fight. We can help you too." Kor thought for a moment, then nodded. "Show us what you know." The humans and aliens spent days on Vornia. They showed the Vornians how to build strong walls and how to use firebombs. They taught them how to aim their weapons and how to fight together. The Vornians were quick to learn. They were strong and brave. Lyra watched them practice every day. She felt proud to be part of something that could save them. One night, as the stars shone bright, Lyra and Captain James stood on a hill near the Vornian city. They could see the tall white mountains glowing in the starlight. "The Vornians are good fighters," Lyra said. Captain James nodded. "Yes, and they will need to be. The undead never stop." Lyra shivered as she thought of the undead. She remembered their cold eyes and their endless hunger. But she pushed her fear away. "We will teach them everything," she said. After many days, the humans and aliens said goodbye to the Vornians. Kor stood with them at the ship. "Thank you for your help," he said. "We will be ready." Captain James shook his hand. "Stay strong," he said. "We are all in this together." The ship lifted off and flew into the sky. Lyra watched the white mountains of Vornia grow small and then disappear. She felt both sad and hopeful. There were so many worlds to help. Next, they went to a planet called Tauren. It was a hot world with red deserts and bright yellow skies. The Tauren people were short and wore simple clothes. They lived in small villages made from stone. The leader of Tauren was a woman named Sarah. She was small but strong. When she saw the ship land, she came to meet them. "Why have you come?" she asked in a hard voice. Captain James spoke calmly. "The undead may come here. We have fought them before. We want to help you." Sarah crossed her arms. "We do not need help," she said. "We have always survived." Lyra stepped forward. "We thought that too," she said. "But the undead are different. They do not stop. If you do not learn to fight together, they will destroy everything." Sarah looked at Lyra for a long time. Finally, she nodded. "Show us." So the humans and aliens taught the Tauren people. It was harder here. The Tauren did not trust outsiders. They did not like to change their ways. But slowly, they began to see that the humans were trying to help. Lyra worked every day with the Tauren children. She showed them how to use the small weapons and how to hide in the red rocks. She laughed with them and told them stories of Zyron's rivers and forests. One night, Sarah came to sit with Lyra by the small fire. "You are brave," she said. Lyra shook her head. "I am just trying to help," she said. "We all have to. Be strong now." Sarah looked into the fire. "I see that now," she said softly. When the humans and aliens left Tauren, Sarah stood with them. She did not smile, but her eyes were calm. "We will remember what you taught us," she said. "Captain," James nodded. "Stay ready," he said. "The undead do not stop." The ship lifted off again. Lyra felt tired, but she knew there was still more work to do. There were other worlds that needed their help. As they flew through the stars, Captain James said, "You have done well, Lyra. You are not just a fighter, you are a leader." Lyra looked out at the endless black sky. She did not feel like a leader, she still felt small. But she knew she could not stop. The undead were out there, waiting. "I will keep fighting," she said. "For Zyron, for the humans, for every world." Captain James smiled. "That is all we can do." The ship flew on, bright in the darkness. Lyra knew the fight was not over, but she was not alone. She had the humans beside her, and together, they would keep going, world by world, battle by battle until the undead were gone forever. The ship moved fast toward the human base under attack. Everyone was quiet but ready. The humans and aliens prepared their weapons. Lyra checked her gear again and again. She felt nervous but strong. This was the moment they had been preparing, for Captain James stood at the front giving orders. "We will land near the base. Stay alert. The undead could be anywhere." When they landed, the air was thick with smoke and dust. The ground was cracked and broken. Buildings were burned and falling down. The base looked like a place of war. Lyra and the others moved carefully through the ruins. The undead were everywhere, slow but strong, with empty eyes and cold hands. They groaned and moved toward the survivors. The humans and aliens fought hard. Firebombs exploded. Bullets flew. The undead kept coming, but the fighters stood their ground. Lyra worked with a group of alien soldiers. They used traps they had, built, spikes hidden in the ground, nets to catch the undead. The aliens used their strength to push the undead back. The humans used their weapons to keep the enemy far away. It was a long and hard fight. Some fighters fell. Lyra saw friends get hurt, but no one gave up. At one point, a large group of undead surrounded them. Lyra felt fear, but she remembered the lessons from Zyron and the other planets. She yelled to the others, "Use the firebombs now!" The bombs flew through the air and exploded with bright flames. The undead screamed and fell back. The fighters took the chance to move forward. Captain James led the charge. "Keep pushing. We can win this." Slowly, the survivors moved toward safety. The undead were forced back and then destroyed one by one. After hours of fighting, the base was safe. The survivors cheered. The humans and aliens hugged each other. They had done it. They had won another battle. But the war was not over. Captain James gathered everyone. "This fight was hard," he said. "But it shows we can work together and win." Lyra looked around. She saw hope in the eyes of the survivors. She thought about all the worlds they had helped. She knew the fight would go on, but now they had a chance. She held the blue stone Mira had given her. It reminded her of peace, of home, and of the strength to keep going. That night, as the stars shone bright above the repaired base, Lyra stood outside with Captain James. "We have done much," she said quietly, "but there is still more to do." Captain James smiled. "Yes, but we have something special. We have each other, and that will make all the difference." Lyra nodded. "Together, we will fight. Together, we will survive." The stars twinkled above them. The future was uncertain, but the humans and aliens were ready to face whatever came next, because they were not alone. They were united, and they would never give up.